So before I forget, I wanted to make a quick video telling the story about the best example that I have from my life of what I was talking about in my last video, which is that we can't know what 3D events mean. And sometimes things really look like they're falling apart, or it looks like something really bad has happened, and then it turns out that it was all for the benefit of you and whatever the thing is you're trying to do. So in the summer of 2017, my business partner and I decided that we needed to move offices. And we were so busy at work at that time, I was working so much, that I hadn't even realized how close it was to our lease being up. And we really didn't have enough space, and we were overpaying for a really nice office when we didn't need, something that could be a retail store. We just need like warehouse space. And so we realized that we were like 2 weeks out from the lease, and I was like, let's just do it. Let's get this done. Let's not extend the lease for another year because we screwed up and waited too long. Like, let's hustle and get it done. So, and I was really like, we need to do this. There was a very strong intention there to do it. And so we started looking all around for office space, and there just was like nothing good available. It was really looking bleak. And then we found an office space that looked pretty good, and it was very close to the office space we were in already, and it was a really nice place. It was like attached to a Subway, which I really like because I like going to Subway. I was like, I'm not kidding. That was probably like 30% of the reason I wanted it. I was like, I go to Subway every day for lunch without having to drive anywhere. I'm a former city person. So anyway, there were some issues with this place that were going to make moving in there and dealing with certain aspects of our business a really big pain in the ass. But we were in a time crunch, and so we signed the lease and put down $3,600 as a deposit. And so we got the keys, and I went over to the office and I started measuring to figure out, how we were going to set things up there. This all happened in like a matter of like 2 days. We like saw the place, set it up, so I hadn't done any of that yet. I had just been going based on what was in the real estate listing. So when I started measuring, I realized that this space was like 400 square feet smaller than it was listed. And our office space that we were moving out of was 1,000 square feet. This place was supposed to be 1,850, and it was empty. So it looked way bigger empty than it actually was. So it wasn't like it was so much smaller and I just missed it. It was kind of an optical illusion, in a way. So when I measured and I figured out this place was way smaller, I called my agent. We got in touch with the landlords and basically said, hey, you either need to lower the rent to match the square footage that this place actually is, or you need to let us out of the lease. And they basically said, go fuck yourself. That was their response. They said, you signed the lease, even though this was 30 minutes after getting the keys. They basically said, take us to court. It doesn't matter that the listing was wrong. You looked at it, you said you liked it, and screw you. So after a little legal back and forth, and being just absolutely righteously enraged for about 24 hours, my partner and I just sort of said, hey, you know what? This place isn't ideal, and these people suck, but it's only $3,600. Like, this, we're not going to move into this place over a matter of $3,600. And if we lose $3,600, well, that's on them. Nothing good comes to people who do things like that. I know that. I've seen that so many times that I was pretty comfortable with feeling like, they'll be taken care of. People with those kinds of scruples, I don't know, shit goes down, shit happens to them. So we just said, okay, we're going to eat the loss, and we're going to focus on finding the right place. This wasn't the right place. Let's let it go. So we did. And for about 3 more weeks, we kept looking for a place. We couldn't find anything. And it was just, we were like, oh God, okay, I guess we're going to have to stay in the current place, which was like the worst idea I could imagine. We were so cramped. Then, out of nowhere, after we'd kind of given up, I got a call from our agent, and she said, hey, we had looked at this place when we first moved to the area and first got an office. We had looked at an office space and just totally rejected it. It had seemed like, first of all, it was way overpriced. It had seemed like it didn't really work for us. It was too much space at the time, too expensive, etc. And because we had rejected it already prior to that, we hadn't even thought of this place again. It had been sitting on the market vacant the entire time we'd been in our office at the time, our current office at the time. And we went and looked at this place again, and it was perfect. Not to mention, it was like 500 feet from the office we were in, which made moving some heavy machinery like not a big deal at all. And we had been really worried about how that was going to get done and get up this ramp into the other office that we got screwed on and all of that. And so here's the really amazing part about this. The reason that we hadn't looked at the office again was nothing had changed about it. It was the same price as before. We had rejected it with our agent, so she didn't even think to bring it up. The price on this office dropped by about 40%. And that's why it had popped back up in her listings and she saw it as a new listing. And so what ended up happening was we lost the first office, or we lost the deposit on the first office, which was $3,600. But this office we ended up getting, which was a way better deal for us, and it was bigger. It was like 100 square feet bigger than the other office was supposed to have been. This place cost half as much as the place that we got screwed on the $3,600 on. And that was 3 years ago, almost 3 years ago. And in the meantime, that has saved us almost $38,000 in rent. So we got screwed out of the $3,600 and we ended up getting a way better office, way better location, and it ended up saving $38,000. So a factor of 10 over what we lost. And here's the kicker. The subway that was attached to that place closed like 6 months later. So it ended up working out all around. Didn't even miss out on being attached to a subway. That office, the office space I'm currently in, is perfect. It's amazing. It's exactly what we needed. It came at exactly the right time. It was a way better deal, and I think that is often how things play out if you are willing to sort of keep your eye on the prize, and ignore things in 3D that seem bad. You know, who knows what would have happened if we had moved into that original office just to not lose that money? Or who knows what would have happened if we would have decided to take those guys to small claims court, or I don't know, spend any negative energy on it. We were so pissed and we just said, we're letting this go, and we did. We didn't spend a lot of time being pissed off about it after that. That's how things work out a lot of the time. And if you're too busy reacting to 3D, for too long, then you could miss the good thing that's there waiting to be found. That divine order is trying to keep you from missing.